what is up guys? It is Annelies and I am in the tech corner, which means this is a tech video for you guys. What do you guys really honestly think of that intro? Because I honestly really like it. Yes, I am here in the tech corner, and the reason why I'm here in the tech corner, if I can't say tech corner enough times, is because I'm here to talk about the WWDC. And if you don't know what that is, the WWDC is the Worldwide Developers Conference, which is a conference that is put on by Apple every year. Now, at this conference, developers and software engineers and lovers of technology and whoever's and whatever's come together for an entire week to learn about technology and different advancements with software and creating apps and all these things, and it's really super cool. And every year it's kicked off with the keynote. The keynote is where the head honchos of Apple, people like Tim Cook, Craig Federighi, Eddie Q, come together and they talk about the new things that are coming out. Now, in the years way long ago, the last time hardware was announced was with the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4. Please correct me if I am wrong, or I will correct myself in post. Anyway, the keynote normally introduces new software, whether it be new software for the computers, the phones, the watches, or just ways that software can be created better, new advancements in software, things like that. This year, macOS, iOS, watchOS, I think they also talked about tvOS and some other things, were announced. And these are all to come out in fall. When is fall, you ask? I don't know. We don't have a specific date on when these operating systems are actually going to be released. But yes, these new operating systems were announced, they were talked about, there's now information about them on their website, and that is what I'm here to do today, is to talk about them. Last year I made a My WWDC Thoughts video, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did last year in this video, is put a timestamp of each section that I'm talking about, so that way if you don't want to hear about, iOS, but you just have a Mac, so you only want to watch the macOS stuff, you'll know where each section starts. So I will put that on screen, I'll put that in the description. So the order that I'm going to go in is macOS, iOS, and then ending with watchOS. Contrary to last year's video, something that I'm going to try out with this year's is doing a top 5 of each section. So I've created structure for myself, and I'm limiting myself to a top 5 features or new things coming with each operating system. Now, this doesn't mean that they are my top 5 favorite things. These are just top 5 things that I thought were very interesting. Some of them I really like, some of them I just wanted to kind of like talk about or pinpoint, and yeah. So I've got my handy dandy iPad Pro here with my list of things. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the very first section I'm going to talk about is macOS Sierra. That is the very first thing. It is macOS Sierra, so the new name is Sierra. And the other thing that you probably noticed if you're a longtime Mac user / lover is it is now called macOS versus OS 10, informally known as OS X, because it was the Roman numeral 10. They made kind of a little blurb about it at WWDC where they said, okay, we've got iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and OS 10, but it looks like an X. This is just confusing, so it has been changed to macOS, which I really like. macOS Sierra has got a lot of new updates that are coming along with it. This is something that will be available for your Mac as a free download in the App Store once it finally does come out. I have to say, like, an overall statement that's coming along with macOS Sierra is it's not a lot of like huge things, but a few big things, and then a lot of little sprinkled out like small things that I feel like are just going to overall help the productivity of you when you're using your computer. So the first thing that is kind of groundbreaking, but like the ground is more fractured than anything, is Siri. Siri is on the Mac. Finally! I am so looking forward to this feature because I love Siri in general. I use it on my phone. On now my iPad thinks I'm talking to it because Hey Siri is a thing. I love Siri, and the fact that it's going to be on the Mac now is freaking amazing. Some things that they showcased in Siri on the Mac is that it's going to be able to do, let's say if you pulled up a search result, so let's look up pictures of puppies, and then it pulls up these pictures of puppies. You can drag and drop the pictures straight from the search result into documents such as emails or like Pages documents or whatever it may be, which I think is freaking cool, because that's one thing that when it comes to like on your phone, you'll get all these pictures, but you might have to like, you'll go into the web browser, and it's something that if you know what you're looking for, show me a picture of the Facebook logo. Not many different things are going to come up. It's a pretty narrow narrow search result. So being able to just kind of drag and drop and boom, it's there, will be so freaking simple. You can also ask her questions such as, show me photos from yesterday and how much free space do I have on my Mac, which are cool things that I think this intelligent assistant that Siri is being expanded to the Mac has such a large platform on it. There will be so many cool uses for Siri and I can't wait to use it. Second thing is Apple Pay on the web. This is really freaking cool. So if you have an iPhone 6 or newer, you can use Apple Pay on the web on your computer. So it's going to still authenticate using your thumbprint, so it's not like it's something you can do when you're not, like if you don't have an iPhone, you can't use it on the computer without Apple Pay. But Apple Pay on the web is pretty much saying that you can go into different websites, and when it says, okay, gift card or credit card, you can choose Apple Pay as one of your options, which since Apple Pay is such a secure way of payment, expanding that to the internet, which security is just something super huge to talk about when it comes to your internet related things, is just like, finally! Something that they did announce is that Apple Pay on the web is device wide. So it's going on macOS, iOS, and I think they even mentioned something with watchOS. So Apple Pay on the web is universal. It's going everywhere. Speaking of universality or universals, Universal Clipboard. Ooh, this is a game changer. Universal Clipboard. What your clipboard is when you copy something, it adds it to your clipboard. When you paste it, you're coming from your clipboard. Universal Clipboard means from your other devices, whether it be computers or iOS devices, you can copy something and then paste it on your computer. Pew. What? This is so cool. The amount of times I've texted myself or airdropped myself something or like emailed myself something because I like found something that I wanted to copy, but like I couldn't, maybe it was a tweet or something like that, and I couldn't just like go find that tweet easily or whatever it may be. The fact that we've got a universal clipboard now, ooh, this is so, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm interested to see on the functionality of it, and like where is there going to be an icon for the clipboard? Is it going to be something that I copy it here and just hit paste there and it works? I don't know. Number 4 is optimized storage. So with macOS Sierra, the computer is going to internally like optimize the storage a little bit better. So one of the things, I have it written down here, I'm gonna kind of list off some things. We've got reminders for clearing out user app installers. So when you install the Flash player, you don't need the installer anymore. And if you're doing that multiple times, or QuickTime installer, all these different app installers, they can build up. And depending on how large that installer is, that can make a serious effect on your storage. So reminding you to clear those out, as well as finding duplicate downloads and erasing them, clearing caches, logs, and deleting trashed items within 30 days. The number one complaint that either I personally have or that my friends have or that I've heard is the whole storage issue when it comes to your computer, and especially that little other storage section is the most frustrating little yellow bar I've ever seen on my damn computer, because you don't know what that is and there's no really way of finding out what it is, because the matter of the fact that your files are not being categorized into movies, documents, pictures, whatever they may be. For me, it's a lot of video that's being categorized into the other section, but it's like, how do you know, how do you find that? So the optimized storage thing I'm really looking forward to. And the last thing I have to talk about in macOS Sierra is picture-in-picture. So what this is literally what the word is, putting a picture within a bigger picture. The advancement with picture-in-picture is it's something that you can use video that is coming from either Safari or iTunes and put that in like the top corner of your desktop. So let's say you're watching a YouTube video and totally doing homework, which is a thing you should be doing instead of watching YouTube videos at 2 a.m. Not speaking for personal experience at all. You can actually have it like within your thing, like in the picture. So you can have that little video on the top right hand corner or bottom left hand corner or wherever you want it to be on your desktop or document or whatever. So that way multitasking is like a little bit easier. The next thing is iOS 10, and I'm going to try to stay on track so much because there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I'm just gonna power through it. So iOS 10. First thing, we've got VoIP calling on the lock screen. Now if you don't know what VoIP calling is, I didn't know what it was either and I had to Google it. I knew what this was, but I didn't know it was called VoIP calling. So VoIP calling is called Voice over IP, and IP is an internet protocol network. So Voice over Internet Protocol Network is what a VoIP is. What VoIP is. Yeah. So with that being said, VoIP calls are now going to your lock screen. So what a VoIP call, an example would be, is something like Facebook Messenger phone call, WhatsApp phone call, Snapchat phone call, all. They're internet phone calls. So it's phone calls that you can do to international countries and not have to worry about your international roaming charges, or like when you get international phone calls and how it costs you an arm and a leg. Since it's going over the internet, there's no like country lines, if you will. There's no international like internet charges because it's just going over the internet. So this is something that I have learned from my family who lives in Holland, which is in Europe, that a lot of people use WhatsApp. It's a very popular app, and it's something that's kind of laid out the same as like Facebook Messenger / iMessage, so that we can text people, call people, and since all these countries are so close together, if you were to use their like international or like their national phone service, like their AT&T or their Verizon, if you were to call to your neighbor who lives maybe an hour away from you in Belgium and you're somewhere else, I don't know what's next to Belgium, an hour or 30 minutes away from you, or even like your next door neighbor if you're like that close on the country lines. So WhatsApp is super popular because you can go between person to person from iPhones, Androids. It's an app compatible for both. I think it's even on Windows phones. So an issue that I've personally found with VoIP calling and it not being on the lock screen as of right now is it just shows up as like a little text notification and it just says like so-and-so is calling you. And then that's how you miss a lot of phone calls. So having them go to your actual screen like a regular like phone call will be so nice and so convenient, and I really feel that like millions of people are so gonna appreciate this. Second thing, I'm just gonna blaze through this because of the fact that I spend too much time on it. If you have social media and you know anybody who is slightly interested in tech, you've probably, even if not, you've probably somehow seen something about messages. So messages got a huge update, and just as like a kind of a sky view thing about messages, I feel like it's something that has turned very similar to Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. First reason being because of the fact you can download like pictures and like stickers and GIFs and all these things, and you can do all these fun things like giving thumbs ups and whatever. And that is a lot of things that have been added to messages. It's something that I personally feel Apple is trying to appeal to the younger generation and accidentally appeal to the older generation because of, let me just give you a few features. First, something I think is actually cool is invisible ink. So it puts kind of like a frosted glass look over all your text messages or pictures if you send them with invisible ink on them, and to actually view it, whoever receives it has to swipe their finger over it like they're wiping away invisible ink. So I think that's cool just for like a privacy thing. Maybe you know a friend is notorious for leaving their phone open and unlocked on a table and you're texting them something important that you don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to accidentally see. Another thing is bubble effects. So when the little bubble message comes into the group thread or the thread between person to person, you can have like this one that drops really hard and shakes up the whole message, and another one that like grows slowly, and they're supposed to elicit different emotions. I don't believe that. I mean, I'll probably use in that drop one a lot because it's just fun looking. It like shakes the whole picture and it's really cool. But with this, it's like, is anybody gonna really get that emotion? If I'm angry, I'm not gonna send a bubble emoji like effect. I'm gonna like send a text saying like, hey, I'm pissed off, or I'm really sorry, I don't like. The only word I can come up with is gimmicky, but it's a fun gimmick. And let's put it this way, if it's gimmicky, it's a really well thought out, super intricate, and like nicely developed gimmick. So it's like, it's just a fun thing to play around with, but it's not like a crappy little thing that you download. It's something that's nice, it's strong, it's built into the operating system. So at least if you're gonna use it, you know it's not some just thing that somebody built as a little one-offer thing. Like, it's built into the operating system. So at least it's, I don't know, I have to give credit to that in some aspect. I said I was gonna go quick and I still am not going quick. Tapbacks are like giving them a thumbs up or a heart, and you do like it does like a little thought bubble on top of your bubble. And if it's something that's difficult to get to, like, okay, go to this, go to this, go to this, then do a tapback, I'm not sure I'm really down for it. Message effects, which is something that you can add to a message. So you send it a message and there's like fireworks in the background, or there's balloons or kisses and confetti, and I think that will be fun. I will definitely be using that. Of anything of these little like fun features, I'll definitely be using like the balloon one for people's birthdays. I think that would be cool. You can set heartbeat to sketches, very similar to the Apple Watch. Another really cool thing is the App Store. There is an App Store within the Messages app, or App Store is opened to messages and developers can now go into messages. So things like Jib Jab, which is the thing that like you elf yourself and you put your face on a picture of somebody and then they're like doing all this cool breakdance dancing, it looks like you're dancing, but totally not at all. You can like add that within your messages, or like adding stickers or GIFs, kind of like how you have alternate keyboards, or in Facebook Messenger, how you have all those different stickers. That's what this is kind of gonna be with messages. So how I mentioned earlier, it's something I see a lot of similarity between the two. I think it was a lot of popularity came over with Facebook Messenger, even though I freaking hate that app so much. Like, just let me change the ringtone, that's all I ask. Okay, I'm not gonna get on that soapbox right now. You can do a lot of the same similar thing. There's like a lot of similar features, and then there's some new features with messages, but I keep seeing that similarity like glaring me in the eyes. And then the last thing, it's called emojification. So emojification, what is that? You write out a sentence, you click on the emoji keyboard, and what does it do? It goes and highlights all the words that can be emojified. So you go to happy, and then it gives you the option to choose from multiple happy faces, or love, and there's hearts, or graduation, and it's a graduation cap, or hot dog, and you do the hot dog emoji. I do not type in emojis, and I season my sentences with emojis, but I do not replace words with emojis, and I'm already not looking forward to it. Moving on from messages, Apple Music. So a few little things that I noticed within Apple Music, not the one thing I'm super excited about, but it did get a complete redesign. Complete is a wrong word. There's this new feature where it like lets you create, there's like curators making playlists based off your own likes, which is kind of similar to the For You section, except it's actually creating a playlist for it. I'm interested to see how that goes. I don't know. I kind of like the For You playlist because it already recommends playlists, but we'll see. Another thing is that Connect is gone, and nobody said anything about it. Everybody just acted like it totally didn't happen. Connect was kind of like a social media within Apple Music to connect with different artists. Whatever, that's cool and all, but yeah, nobody talked about how the fact that it just kind of flopped and isn't there anymore, which I think is funny, just a little bit. So yeah, Connect isn't there, so if you liked that, I'm sorry, it's gone. And then the very last thing that I'm really personally excited for is lyrics within Apple Music. That's gonna be so much fun! Like, karaoke is gonna be off the charts. That one little rap number in this song you'll like. Also, completely unrelated side note, there was like a rap verse in a country song. I think it's like on Thomas Rhett's album Tangled Up. I just heard it and I was like, what is I mean, some people dig it. I like country, I like rap. Maybe the two together are not my cup of tea. But if you need to know the lyrics to a song, you go on Apple Music, and I think it's just like you scroll down or something like that, and boom, lyrics right there. No more A to Z lyrics, no more Metro lyrics, right there. So that's that with Apple Music. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about was Maps. The Maps app has also had a huge update. One thing being that developers now have access to Maps. So apps like Uber, apps like OpenTable, those are just ones that they use an example for the keynote, but are available within the app. So if you are, somewhere and you're like, oh, okay, I need to get an Uber, you can call an Uber to you right within the Maps app. Or you're looking at the view and you see, oh, there's a restaurant, let me book a reservation with OpenTable. I think this is really cool, and there's so many cool like travel apps, so to see those within the Maps app is gonna be something really awesome, especially for when you're traveling abroad or you're traveling somewhere like you've never been before, but you still wanna go out to restaurants or like whatever it may be. I think it's just gonna be a really cool tool for traveling. There's also going to be smart suggestions, so when you go into the Maps and then you go to like the search bar, it'll give you some things saying like, oh hey, about this time you go to school, so if you wanted to go to school right now, this is the directions there. Or, oh hey, it's lunchtime, maybe you want some food. So smart suggestions I think are another really cool thing. I'm interested to see if you can turn them off or you can limit on what type of suggestions it gives you. Another thing is searching along your route. So while you're in a route, in a directions sequence, you can also search within your directions for banks or gas stations, because you've been driving for 6 hours and you're on 7 miles left and you're still not home and you're getting low on gas and you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't know where you are. I've been there. I push it too much. Yes, this will be something that I will utilize a lot for sure. And then another thing is directions that include traffic, which I don't know if it's gonna give you like direction results that include the times of traffic, and then you can go on it like, okay, this one has traffic and this one doesn't, because it already includes traffic within Maps. So I'm curious to see what the format of that is, but traffic within directions, I don't know if it'll give you alternate routes, but either way, the idea I'm down for. So the last thing is that Siri is open to app developers, which pretty much means by having Siri open to app developers, you can say things like open up Spotify website, or go to Uber, or launch Snapchat, whatever it may be. It's by saying that developers now have access to Siri is that they can utilize it within their apps. Right now, Siri is just like strictly an Apple apps thing, which is Siri's an intelligent assistant, and she's really freaking cool. But you have so many tools that you download onto your phone that you would love this intelligent assistant to help you out with the entity and the entirety of your phone. So the fact that Siri is kind of expanding its horizons is going to be really exciting, and I'm excited to see how these developers choose to utilize this pretty much as a huge platform. Some honorable mentions. I know I said 5, but I'm going to do some honorable mentions really quick. Voicemail transcription. So your voicemails will be transcribed instead of having to listen to them, you can read them. Home app for all automated home type apps. So it's gonna be like a base app for your Hue Phillips lighting system or your Nest air conditioning. Instead of going to each individual app, you go to this one app called Home. That's cool. Raise to wake. So instead of having to click your button and wake it up, you raise it just the same you raise the watch and it wakes up your lock screen. Dope. Multilingual typing. So if you're typing in 2 languages and you're on maybe your English keyboard, it's not going to correct the things that aren't in English because it's going to recognize the fact that you speak 2 languages. So that's going to be cool. Or autocorrect, that's another thing. Autocorrecting languages that aren't English, it's frustrating. And contextual predictions. So if I'm typing an email that says, hey, John's phone number is, one of the predictions is John's phone number. Pew! How freaking cool is that? And 2 things to note is that it will be available on the iPhone 5 and newer, iPad mini 2 and newer, and iPad 4th generation and newer. And last but not least, we have watchOS 3. So there's not a lot with watchOS 3 that was kind of like blowing me away. I mean, there is one thing, but otherwise we've got a few things here to talk about. First off is you can dock your favorite apps. So by pressing your side button, it will pull up like kind of a multitasking view, if you will, of your apps that you like to use. So you set the apps that are going in the dock, but you can just swipe to the right and like, oh, I really like using the timer app, or I really like to go to Twitter. So you hit your dock, you swipe, open up that app, and boom, it's there. That's another thing. Speaking of the boom, my second point is the wait time has practically been obliterated for launching apps. App launch time, there we go. App launch time has practically been obliterated. So what that means is right now, if I were to go to my watch and launch an app, it would take approximately like 7 to 8 seconds for it to load. Now, in reality, is that a long time? No. But in this day and age, everybody is super used to their technology going really, really fast. And so it is a little bit annoying to have to wait that long, especially if you're like, I'm gonna put down my wrist to wait. You wake it back up and then it went back to your watch face, which is really annoying. So having that launch time be gone is gonna be something that I'm very much looking forward to. Along with the launch time being gone, there is a background app refresh feature. So right now, if you open up an app, it opens up and then it loads your results. Right now, with the new operating system, you launch an app, it loads it with the updated results. It updates the app automatically right when you launch it. So there's gonna be no wait time to utilize your app. One thing that they featured was like a sport app that was tracking a soccer game. So he launched the app on watchOS 2 and it said like, okay, launching app, launch the app, then the scores got updated. Then in the example with watchOS 3, it launched the app with the updated scores already. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Third thing is the Breathe app, which is something that I always forget to do. So the Breathe app is meant to be a meditation app. If you've ever seen the video on, like, I saw it going around on Facebook for a long time, that if you have anxiety or panic attacks, to follow this picture that's opening up and then it like collapses, and to follow your breathing with the open and then breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, like kind of thing. And that's what the Breathe app does. It's for a few minutes and it's kind of meant as a meditation thing, and it can either go through visually watching it or taps to represent the going out and going in. And this is going to be something that is similar to a workout when you're in the workout app, but for kind of helping you breathe and kind of calm down. This is something that I think a lot of people who have anxiety or people who have panic attacks a lot will help out with. There are times where I get so anxious and so like I'm so nervous that my body like locks up and like I can't help but like cringe my hands, or like my jaw starts cringing. This is something I do a lot when I'm like anxious or like frustrated, is like my hands just start like clenching. It's freaking weird. It looks like it's something out of a horror movie, but my hands just start doing this when I'm like so frustrated. Or I do that with my toes. That's another thing. I like crunch up my toes super hard when I'm just super anxious or like nervous or I'm freaking out for any reason. I just start clenching my toes and I clench my hands. So to have this Breathe app on my wrist, it's something that I hope will help me at least take a few minutes to calm down, because you always hear that count backwards from 10, you'll be fine. But it's harder when like you're supposed to be doing it on your own. I feel like when something is commanding you to do that, it helps a little bit keeping you on track. Going along with workout and, you know, health and fitness, activity sharing is gonna be a new thing. So on your Apple Watch, you get these, So on your Apple Watch, you get these little things called activity rings. So these little rings here represent your calorie goals, your exercise goals, and how long you've been standing in the day, whatever it may be. With this, it's something that you can now share your activity rings with your friends, which I get really competitive with myself, and especially if this is gonna, like, something that shows me such large progress like this, I get extremely competitive with my own self. It's gonna be another level of competitiveness with my friends. So I don't know if they have to be something that you have on Find My Friends, or if that's something you request, if you do it on the phone versus the watch. I don't know, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I love me some good, healthy competition. I'm not a sore loser, but I like competing, but like, I don't know. I don't like it when it's me and competing. Like this, I feel like it's good for everybody. Like, no matter if you lose, you're still doing good. I don't know. It's just a little bit better, I think. I don't know. That probably doesn't even make sense. Whatever. And the last feature I want to talk about was SOS. So what SOS is after holding your side button for a extended period of time, my mouth is moving faster than my brain and the words that are coming out of my mouth, so I'm tripping over my own tongue. Slow down. So what SOS is when you hold this side button for an extended period of time. It does not say on the website, or they didn't mention in the keynote, I think, how long you hold the side button for, but when you're holding the side button after X amount of time, right now if you hold it down, it'll then say slide to power off, but what it's going to do is then call your local emergency service number. So in the US it would be 911, in other countries it's something else. That's another thing. It uses your location services to find out your local emergency phone number. So if you're in a situation that you do need to contact, you know, emergency services, just by holding that button down, you'll be able to get a hold of that. Along with SOS, after you do that phone call, now I don't know if it's when you do the phone call or after the phone call is over, what it's gonna do is send a emergency alert out to everybody in your emergency contacts. So in the event that, you know, you call 911, anybody who's in your emergency contacts is gonna get a text from you saying, hey, I just called emergency services, and I think with your location, I don't know entirely, but I think this is gonna be a really cool tool, especially for people who have like those seizure wristbands, or like I'm a diabetic or I'm allergic to XYZ. And that's gonna be something that's really helpful. And I've said this from the beginning, but I think Apple Watch is gonna kill Life Alert. With the ability to call emergency services, call anybody, get texts, track your activity, track your health on here, Life Alert is deuce. Bye. This is also something that won't really fall off. I felt like the necklace was a little weird. Medical ID is also going to be kind of a trailing off of the SOS thing. Medical ID is also going to be on your Apple Watch. So for those people who have all those bracelets, they'll be able to have it kind of in one secure location. Now if I personally had to wear one of those bracelets, I think I would still wear one, but being able to have kind of a more detailed list of your health needs and health conditions that you may have, having that on your watch to be able to kind of get a little bit more in depth, I think will be very helpful to people who need special medical attention. So I think it's just like leaps and bounds. They're using their technology for good. I'm really excited for it. This video is still really long, but I did it. We're done, guys. I try so hard to get these videos short, but there's so many things I want to tell you, and I don't want to spread out into multiple videos because I feel like that's dumb, and being able to compress it all into one thing is way easier. So yeah. So guys, that is it. That is macOS Sierra, iOS 10, and watchOS 3. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for these new operating systems when they do come out. Something Apple has kind of said in the past is that their operating systems will be free, so you don't have to worry about paying anything for these guys. It'll be automatic updates that you can do. It's not going to automatically do them, but it will give you an alert saying, hey, do this update. It's out now. If you want to download it, here it is, and it'll probably bug you a lot if you don't do it. But that happens with anything that needs to be updated. It will bug you a lot because whoever created it wants you to be on the latest operating system. Anyway, I'm very excited. Thank you for letting me share this excitement with you guys. Anyways, I'm very excited, and thank you for letting me share this excitement with you guys. If you guys are excited too, let me know in the comment section down below with what feature you are most excited about with any of the new operating systems or things that were mentioned at WWDC that I didn't talk about. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That'll let me know that you liked seeing my tech videos, but 2, my WWDC Thoughts, and I will make one for next year. If you are not subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. I make videos every week. Sometimes they're tech videos like this, sometimes they're videos on the other side of my room, like not tech videos, but yeah, that's about it. All my social media links are in the description down below, so feel free to follow me there. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me. That's it for me. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!